Digital marketing, the phrase was first coined about 20 years ago. A lot of things have changed since then. A lot of things have changed since 4.5 years ago when I started at the High Road Agency, and since last week when I started preparing for this presentation. So I'd like to start with just to introduce myself and the High Road Agency for you. High Road Agency was founded in 2012. It was a vision of Jones Media, which is a newspaper group based in Greenville, Tennessee. They had 14 newspapers in Tennessee, North Carolina, and surrounding states. They were purchased in 2016 by the Adams Publishing Group out of Minnesota. Adams Publishing recently just acquired another newspaper group in Florida, which makes it the 4th largest newspaper group by number of publications. Mostly weekly newspapers. Also, there's 5 digital agencies, 16 commercial facilities, events planning, production, specialty tourism products. Our main office is in Johnson City, right there on the 6th floor. When we started, though, we started in Greenville. Then we outgrew that office and moved to Gray, Tennessee, to be more central to the Tri-Cities. Outgrew that office and moved to Johnson City, and found we had a lot of clients here in Virginia, so we opened a satellite office on State Street in Bristol, and just recently opened up our newest location in Kingsport. That's where I'm based. Most days is out of Kingsport. High Road is a full-service marketing agency, digital products, print products, traditional advertising, and digital advertising, pay-per-click, video, photography, social media management, promotional products, event management, pretty much anything you can think of, we'll figure out how to do it. My name's Kyle, like she said, and I lived in Orlando for 30 years. I moved to East Tennessee to work for the High Road Agency. Knew the general manager growing up in Orlando. I'm a little bit in between jobs right now, though. I started as the director of digital operations and was recently moved into account management. So a little bit about me in pictures. I went to Florida Gulf Coast University. It's a small public university on the southwest coast of Florida near Fort Myers. But got my AA there and moved to the fake national champion UCF for my MIS degree in Management of Information Systems. However, despite that, I'm an avid Florida State fan. Sorry if that offends anybody. My wife is an avid Gators fan, which offends me. So that makes rivalry week difficult at our home. I started with a Sony Vaio back when nobody knew how to say that word because it didn't mean anything. But I love using Mac. Everything I have now is Mac except for my phone, which I still hang on to my Samsung Galaxy that does not explode. And I prefer Pepsi over Coke. It's completely irrelevant. So let's move on. Top 10 digital do's and don'ts. Number 1, know your brand. This is kind of basic stuff, but you have to know your brand to have a starting point. Branding is the most important aspect of your business. It's how you communicate with your audience, and it's how you show your audience what your company represents. And we hear a lot, I have a logo, that's not a brand. This is a logo. And that tells you nothing. It doesn't evoke any emotion. It doesn't tell you how it feels. It doesn't say anything except the name of the company. So technically, a logo is a graphic or a typographic mark that identifies your organization. A brand, however, is the sum total of all the experiences, impressions, and knowledge a person has about your product, your service, or your organization. So this is the brand. You feel something different when you see it in this context. Michael Eisner knows a thing or two about branding. He said a brand is a living entity and it is enriched or undermined cumulatively over time, the product of 1,000 small gestures. Branding is a great way to give your business personality, voice. I'm going to show you a few brands. You might notice something a little wrong with them, but you may feel something, and that's part of the strength of these people's brands. Anybody recognize these people? Just feels wrong, doesn't it? This one hurts. This one hurts more. These people have brands, and when you mess with their brands, it feels bad. Your brand is your promise to your customers. Having an active and efficient branding strategy is what differentiates your business from your competitors. So before you spend money on digital marketing, make sure you have a strong brand. Here's a few points to consider. What is your business mission statement? Do you have one? And if you don't, you need one. What benefits and features do you want your products or services to offer your customers? And what qualities do you want your customers to associate with your business? Your brand should reflect the answers to each of those questions. All right, number 2. You have your brand. Now you got to know your audience. What do they want? What are they looking for? What are they not looking for? What do they need? You have to profile them. I know it's a dirty word, but you have to profile your audience. You can profile them through demographics, their age, their gender, their ethnicity, socioeconomic profiling through income, job status, wealth, education, psychographic through options, thoughts, their values, their morals, or geographically based on their physical location, where they live, where they want to live, where they travel, where they want to go. Use this to help design your digital marketing strategy. And if you don't know the answers to this, use Google Analytics. If you don't have Google Analytics on your website, you're missing out on a wealth of information. You also have to identify the customer, the payer, and the influencer. So consider Chuck E. Cheese Day. I have 2 kids. I hate Chuck E. Cheese Day because when I come home, I need a shower. I don't choose to go to Chuck E. Cheese. So when we go, my daughter is the influencer, I'm the payer, my family's the consumer. And you need to identify all of those aspects. It may be the same person for each of those. And when you start to understand your audience, develop a sense of empathy for the people you're marketing to. What are they passionate about? And how can you address it or exploit it, depending on how you want to depending on what terminology you want to use. How can you monetize it? Conduct thorough market research and learn everything you can about the demographics through those 4 profiling methodologies. Build an emotional connection with your consumers. And remember that your real goal isn't leads, because leads don't give you dollars. Sales is your real goal. So use your marketing to push people towards taking an action. So now we know our audience. Next thing is you need to know your competitors. Don't forget about them. One of the basic rules in Sun Tzu's The Art of War is to know your opponent. If you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. But if you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you'll succumb in every battle. Knowing what you're up against is the best way to stay ahead of your competition. Know what your competitors offer. What are they selling? How are they selling it? What's working for them? What's not working for them? How can their products help or hurt your consumers? What is your competitive advantage? What differentiating factors do you have that your competitors don't? Do a SWOT analysis. If you haven't done one, that'll help you through this part. And when you're evaluating your competitors, pay attention to the following. What methods do they use to market their products? What channels are they using? Traditional, digital, guerrilla marketing, referral marketing? What actions do they take to enhance their customer loyalty? Are they using loyalty programs, frequent buyer programs, coupons? Do they just generate a culture that people want to come back to, like Apple? And what digital marketing tools are they employing for their business? Social media? Should you be there too? Online advertising? Are they paying Google to show up in the rankings? We'll talk about all those soon. So doing that competitive analysis will give you a better understanding of your marketplace conditions. Next, find the right channels. You have to fish where the fish are. So you have a target market, you know your audience, and in order to reach them, you have to find where they are so you can reach them efficiently and effectively. The type of channel you select will depend on your targeted audience. So there are 6 main types of channels. We'll start with pay-per-click. Pay-per-click advertising is like Google AdWords. Whenever you search for something on Google, those top 3 that say they're paid listings, those are pay-per-click. Google processes 3.5 billion searches a day as of the latest statistics. Should you show up on Google? If you don't, should you pay to show up on Google? And remember though, Google's a beast with 65% of the market share, but that leaves 35% not using Google. Don't forget about Yahoo, Bing, Ask, some of those other channels. Social media, another biggie. It's actually more of a set of channels. Not every channel will work for every business, for every strategy. Here's a few statistics though. 44% of teenagers who were asked to choose one social network if they were on a deserted island chose, anybody have a guess? Snapchat. 24% said Instagram. 14% said Facebook. Facebook's not the choice for a younger generation. 81% of millennials check Twitter at least 1 time per day. What's your definition of a millennial though? What's the age range, do you know? Sorry?
It's like 81 to 1981
To
to
You're very,
I'm
yeah.
at the beginning.
I actually have a millennial presentation tomorrow. It's 81 to 96. Diana and Charles' wedding and divorce years. Not that that matters. That's not how they chose it. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Independence Day. Those are the bookends. 81% of millennials check their Twitter feed at least 1 time per day. On an average day, Snapchat reaches 41% of all 18 to 34-year-olds in the United States. 51% of Instagram users look every single day. 80% of time spent on social media is done so on a mobile device. 400 million snaps are shared on Snapchat every day. 93, this is huge, 93% of Pinterest users use the platform to plan or make purchases, and Pinterest drives 25% of all retail website referral traffic. And 39% of LinkedIn users pay for premium accounts. So the big 6, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. 82% of all social advertising money is spent on Facebook, even though that's not the choice of the millennial generation. Facebook's great for B2B, some of the older generations. Twitter's hanging in there. Instagram's great for the young millennials. YouTube is huge, and we'll talk about video later. Pick your strategy. Not every social account is proper for every industry. Another channel is a blog. We get a lot of questions about SEO and how can we get on the first page. Well, Google doesn't care about keywords almost at all anymore. They're looking for quality of content and new content, looking for relevancy. They're looking for people to share your content. And a blog is a great way to do that. What you don't want to do is have a blog that was last updated in June of 2014. Make sure you keep it regular and consistent. Organic traffic is a channel. There's people that just come find you. They type in your website right into their browser. Direct email, email marketing, don't forget about it. We'll get to that later as well. And remarketing. That's that creepy time when you're on Amazon and you're searching for something for vacation and you don't buy it, and then it shows up in your Facebook feed and you think they are watching. They are. Retargeted visitors are 70% more likely to convert. You can buy remarketing or retargeted advertising. So set your business objectives when you're trying to choose your channel. What are you trying to achieve? Brand awareness? That's really the beginning. Maybe email marketing might be the best, or social media advertising. Are you trying to get down the funnel more into lead generation? SEO might help, mobile marketing. Or direct sales. How far down the funnel? What's your business strategy? Maybe if you're trying to get direct sales, display ads or mobile websites, social media marketing would be the best. And consider your target audience that we've already identified. Remember the Chuck E. Cheese example. Identify your consumer, your payer, and your influencer. The kids aren't the ones buying things at Toys R Us. Nobody's buying anything at Toys R Us. The kids aren't buying the toys at the toy aisle at Target anymore, but they are the ones being targeted on the commercials. What are their pain points and challenges? What platforms do they engage in? How do they buy and when? Think about your budget too. What is your overall marketing budget? And how much are you willing to allocate to each digital channel? And make sure you can track it. What ROI do you expect from each channel? Some have a bigger ROI, but they may not be ones you can get into at that point. Check your availability of talent. Is this something you can do in-house, or do you need to get a digital marketing agency to help? Can you navigate through MailChimp and create an engaging email marketing campaign? And check your competitors. What channels are they using? We're going to keep going back to that. What are your competitors doing? Keep an eye on that, because if what they're doing is working, copy it. Next, don't forget to interact. The worst thing you can do with digital marketing is to ignore your customers or use too much automation. A lot of places will just have auto-responding robots that answer every email for them. Your customers are reaching out to you because they want to hear from you. It's important to keep in touch with your potential customers instead of always just directing them to the website for more information. That FAQ section is great, but when people reach out to you, it may be because they already checked and they can't find it. Never let an opportunity to interact with your customers or your potential customers go to waste. They want to know that your brand is personal. And if they just get an autoresponder from a Facebook message that says, "We'll get back to you soon," and you never respond to them, they'll know that you're not personal. Make sure your website has a comment section. Monitor it, answer it. If people are taking the time to find your website and fill out a comment and send it to you with a question, take the time to respond to them. And this one's a big one. If you receive an unfavorable tweet or a bad Facebook review, don't just ignore it. Try to address the situation in a diplomatic way that maintains your brand integrity. Try to take the conversation offline if you can, would be ideal. We do that a lot through our social media management. Just acknowledge what your customers are saying and try to use it to make your business better. Do build your site for mobile users. Most internet users use smartphones and mobile devices to access the internet. That's not a secret. At the High Road, we monitor our websites and find that on average, it's 60% of all traffic coming in is now on a tablet or a phone. 80% of internet users own a smartphone. American adults are expected to spend approximately 3 hours and 23 minutes per day on a mobile device this year. 51 minutes of that is on the web. I don't have 3 hours and a half to spend on a phone. 57% of users say they won't recommend a business with a poorly designed mobile site. It's because they've already checked. Oh, this is the scene we see mostly when we go out. Teenagers hang out, really interact with each other. I have a 17-year-old. She's currently in Honduras, and she calls every night like this. I look around, everyone's on their phone. These are savvy internet users, and they expect a user interface that's mobile first. This is an advertisement that runs in the Loafer in the Tri-Cities. I love it. It's actually a competitor's ad, but they did a great job. Check your website on a mobile. I won't tell you their name, but it's a great ad. Do everything you can to make your digital marketing strategy fit your smartphone technologies. Adjust picture size. Go mobile first. Check your menus. Menu structure is huge. Make sure they can navigate through on a screen that's 4 inches big. Maybe you need a mobile app. Remember we said 3.5 hours a day and only 51 minutes is spent on the web. That means 2.5-ish hours are spent in apps. Maybe your business needs a mobile app instead of just a mobile responsive website. Let's talk about video. Add more video to your mix. This is really just a bunch of statistics, but it's pretty striking. 82% of Twitter users will watch video on Twitter. YouTube has over 1 billion unique users. The internet has 3.5 billion unique users. Almost 1 out of 3 people on the internet are YouTube users. 45% of social media users watch more than an hour a week of video on Facebook or YouTube. 500 million hours of video are watched on YouTube every day. More video content is uploaded in 30 days, in the past 30 days, to social channels than every major US TV network has created in the past 30 years. 1/3 of online activity is spent watching video. Over half of online video is viewed on a mobile device. Make sure your videos are mobile optimized. 92% of mobile video viewers will share those videos. Marketers who use video grow revenue 49% faster than non-video users. We've seen that statistic play out with our clients. Those that choose to use our video service will see their goals and their ROI achieved faster. Social video generates 1,200% more interaction than text and images combined. 85% of Facebook video is watched without sound. Keep that in mind when you're working on your videos. Use captions, use text, or come up with a way to tell your story soundlessly.
Do you have a recommendation for a program or software to use to do that?
We have an in-house video department, so they're using the Adobe suite. I could find for you, though. I could ask them. And
It's actually a very, very strong tool. It sits around $50-55 a month, and you have the full entire suite available. Totally agree.
next year, video traffic will account for 80% of internet traffic. Of course, that includes Netflix, which is probably 70% of it. Next, don't ignore email. Email marketing. If you're like me, this is how my phone looks all day long. Just blows up. Email after email, reminders from the dentist, your Amazon package is shipped. But dollar for dollar, as late as 2017, email was found to deliver the best ROI of any marketing channel. So create engaging email campaigns. Provide valuable content that people actually want to read, that they're looking forward to or not dreading seeing your email come into their inbox. Information, updates, coupons, special offers. It's easy to reach mobile users when you use email marketing. 42% of emails are opened on a smartphone, 17% on a tablet. That means more than half of all emails are on a mobile device. Mobile email opens have grown by 200% in the past 3 years. So people are using their phones, they're on the go, they're getting your emails. 91% of email users check their email every day. It may end up in a spam box, but they are looking. Email coupons and offers will drive both online and in-store sales. So make sure that if you have that option, people can or will use it. 64% of internet users have printed a coupon that they use inside a store, that they printed it from an email. And email marketing is really inexpensive. On a per user basis, it's the cheapest. Next, post original content. This is what's going to help your search rankings. Like I said, Google doesn't care about keywords. Our plugin, our preferred plugin for SEO is Yoast SEO. They don't even have a place to put keywords in anymore because Google doesn't care. People were doing too much keyword stuffing on the front end and just labeling their website and thinking they did. They made it to the top, and it wasn't really relevant, and it frustrated searchers. Valuable, current, relevant content is what's going to get you high on Google's organic search pages. So make sure your content provides an answer to a question or solves a problem or provides valuable insight. It's a great place for video too, but make sure you label your videos. Maybe it's a tutorial on how to use your product, or a great way to a great place to travel, or how to get to your location. But don't focus only on text. Make sure you're using images, videos liberally on your website, on your social channels. Don't use copyrighted information or content. There are so many places to get cheap photos, and don't plagiarize. It's easy to find, and it's very expensive if you get caught. Make sure you watch all those little common creative license symbols. And like I said at the beginning, start a company blog. Relevant educational topics about your industry will help get you up higher on Google's search rankings. Then the last one, optimize for local and voice search. How many in here have used local search? Show me restaurants near me. Or used Google Maps to try to find a gas station. That's all using local search. Have you tried searching for yourself on a local search? Do you show up? Make sure your website has contact information clearly on it so that the search engines can find it. But also claim your business on those major search engines. When you go to Google and search for yourself, does it say claim this business? Are you the owner? And have you done that? If so, then you can adjust the content that's on there. You also get to approve changes or decline changes that others may have for your business. But don't neglect the local listings either. There's tens of thousands of listing services on the internet. Reputation management is a service that you'll find at a lot of digital agencies. We offer it as well. It's a service that will claim and clean up local listings on 1,000-ish websites, and the rest of the listing services will use that baseline for their own. Your contact information needs to be consistent. And the other is voice search. When's the last time you asked Siri, Alexa, Cortana, Bixby, any of those a question about your business in plain language? Is anybody? Are you going to get the dreaded, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about? 1 in 6 Americans now own one of these speakers. And they will search on it this year 1 billion times. And by
The more you ask about your business, the more it gets in the rotation?
No, it just needs to be able to find it will translate the question into search terms and then search for that information. Your website needs to be able to give the search engines enough information in plain English and plain language for these speakers to be able to find what they're looking for.
Well, there you go. We'll all be playing Siri.
And by 2020, 50% of all searches will be done by voice. Estimated. So be sure that your website is optimized for voice search. Use long tail keywords. That's more like phrases as opposed to just marketing. Maybe it's digital marketing in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And the best way to find and to define your long tail keywords is to use your mission statement, like we talked about at the beginning. Any questions? It's like drinking from a fire hose.
So if you, so you're saying that if your website doesn't have enough good sentences on it, then
those speakers, Siri is connected to Apple's search, Alexa is Amazon's search, Cortana is Microsoft, so it's connected through Bing, Bixby is Samsung. They all have their AI bots that are scouring the internet. And they're working on your website just like Google's robots are. They're scouring your website looking for keywords and phrases that they can match to someone's voice. So I've listened to people talk to Siri, and I think it's just silly sometimes, but the way that they'll just talk to it like it's another person in the room, then Siri has to parse out all of the thes and ums and ahs, and then they get down to their keywords. You're more likely to be part of that response on those smart speakers if your website content matches what people are searching for.
Oh, okay.
So if we, High Road, main office is in Johnson City. If people search for marketing agencies in Johnson City, I should make sure that that phrase shows up somewhere on our website so that Alexa can find it when someone says, tell me about marketing agencies in Johnson City.
So Kyle, the most important thing for your website is having those keywords. Is that what I'm getting from you?
But the keywords need to be in line in the text. Yeah, just putting a bunch of keywords in the metadata doesn't matter anymore.
So it's the content you have that you're putting up there.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And also it matters with contact information, because that's what I use Google search, my Google voice search. That's what my wife uses her Siri for, is call the dentist. She knows the dentist name. I don't know the dentist name. Call the dentist. And hopefully that dentist has a website that has the phone number that's easy for Siri to find, so that the phone will automatically call. Because otherwise she has to pull over and search and type and copy and all that mess.
So she can say, call the dentist instead of what his name is?
No, the name of the dentist, yeah.
I started saying, you mean they get to know you that way?
Yeah.
So what do you think are the top two mistakes that you see clients have gotten themselves into, especially like in a social media, whether that be the wrong platform that
Mhm.
matches who their audience is, or just like
Sure.
what you see as the top?
The top two problems I would say is lack of regular content. If you're going to have social platforms, if you're going to have a blog, make sure that you're posting to it regularly. Because if someone goes on, it finds your business and then stumbles onto your social media platform, they'd like to know first off that you're still open and that you're still current. I remember who it was. I was on someone yesterday. I do. It was a trophy shop. And I saw that they had posted this event they did in June. It's like, wow, that's great. They're really up to date. And the one before that was from 2017, and the one before that was from 2015. So not really. When we are doing social media management, we post to every account at least one time a week, sometimes twice. Remember the 80-20 rule, though. Don't spend 100% of your time advertising yourself. Give people content that they're looking for that's not necessarily a sales call or a sales pitch. The other mistake we see is people not setting realistic budgets. $5 on Facebook is not going to get you very far. 82% of all social media advertising money is spent on Facebook. It's a very competitive market. And if you're looking, Facebook has tools that'll tell you how much you'll reach for $5. It just depends on where your industry is, what you're trying to reach, who you're trying to talk to. So set realistic budgets and realistic time frames. You might not see instant results in a week. You might need to spend $20 or $50 or $100 a week for 2 months before you really start to see your ROI come in.
But if the millennials aren't watching, if they're not paying much attention to Facebook,
Then fish where the fish are. If you're,
Is that your,
Right,
your
right.
target?
right, so I'm saying if your target is millennials,
Mhm.
or if it's high-tech companies.
If it's high-tech companies, it's more like a B2B. I would aim for LinkedIn and Facebook. If you're looking for millennials, I'd hit Snapchat, Instagram, and Pinterest in that order.
But Pinterest is mostly retail.
Mhm. Yeah, if you're selling a product.
And how important do you think having video content frequently is for a brand?
Critical. Very critical. And everybody carries a movie creation department in your pocket. You don't have to have professionally developed, scripted videos. Hold your phone up, flip the camera around, and talk to your customers for 30 seconds. Keep your videos under 90 seconds. That's really the sweet spot, 60 to 90 seconds. No one's really watching anything past that. You'll be lucky to get to 90. The first 20 seconds is the most critical. If they don't feel like they're going to get any value in the rest of that time, they're going to shut it off.
Let's say that you are getting ready to do a big event. What would you suggest to that client to do to promote that?
For an event,
An event. Could be a non-profit type event, but something that, a community event that can make a positive impact.
we do a lot of event management. Typically, our main drives on events is social. Try to find the platforms that their target market's going to be in. We work with the birthplace of country music, so we hit a lot of the music social. We also run ads on some of those digital channels like Pandora, which is incredibly expensive, but we'll hit Pandora, we'll hit Spotify, try to find where their target audience will be. But that's very much a social push for us. Although based on their target market, they do get good response from billboards as well.
Does anybody else have a question?
Yeah, a question about, is there any specific resources that you know of that if, say, I want to do what you're saying and concentrate on adding more video to my website and my social channels that teach me how to, depending on what my goal is, to hook someone within the first 5 or 7 or 10 seconds to try to get them as far into my video as possible? How do I get them
Sure.
to start to be
People want honesty. They want to know what they're about to hear. So make sure you put your executive summary statement at the beginning, and don't use clickbait or any of those spammy methods to get them to stay. People like lists, top 5 ways to achieve this goal, or 10 ways to clean your grout. We did one of those. Sure, there's 10 ways to clean your grout? Yes, sir.
What does, in your opinion, how does live streaming play into all this to factor it all?
It's huge. Live streaming is huge. 30%, by 2020, 30% of all video viewed online will be live. Facebook Live, Snapchat, whatever they do. I'm not in the social department either. Nor am I a post-millennial, so Snapchat doesn't work for me. But Facebook video, I've even seen some other generations. I had a podcaster that's canceled the podcast and moved to Facebook Live video because he had 2,500 podcast subscribers and has 50,000 YouTube watchers. He can monetize it that way. Yeah, live video's
What you
big.
wanna hear.
Yeah, I'm far from that many subscribers, but yeah.
How about we go around the room and everybody introduce yourself, and that might give Kyle some idea of who the audience is, but he may have some questions for him, and this is a great opportunity, we got plenty of time,
Oh, yeah.
so take advantage of it. I'll start, I'm Sandy Ratliff, and I'm with Virginia Community Capital, and I partner with the chamber and the incubator here to do these new knowledge sessions. We also do the business challenge, but one of my focuses in my work paid gig is helping businesses learn how to get started, how to grow, connect to resources, and the capital part is helping them find financing. And I do a lot of community work out in predominantly all Southwest Virginia.
I'm Todd Reynolds with Laboratory Optical Service, and we service and sell microscopes and digital imaging equipment. But I kind of came on my own because I also serve on the county fair board, and I have 3 bands I do Facebook pages for, and we have a family farm, and I do a little stuff on that. And the funny thing is, I got maybe 600 friends on Facebook, and all they talk about is my video
Mhm.
and knocking it out of the park there.
Sheep shearing.
Sheep shearing.
I watched that with every time.
Can't say that with Pittsburgh.
I'm Kyle Craig, and I'm with VFW Post here in Abingdon in our new Veterans Center, and we're doing this to try to promote the veteran day.
Kathy Lowe, Jim Collins Small Business Incubator Director, and we try to assist small and transitioning business here at the incubator to give them an opportunity to start up and then incubate out. But our mission also is working with the Virginia Community Capital and the Chamber of Commerce to support business services and business education like we're doing today.
CMJ Marketing Online came just to not only find out what the new businesses are like, but also to determine what you guys do, how you do it, find out not only if you're a competitor, so to speak, but also what you know. And by the way, high level of knowledge, love the presentation.
Thank you.
And what we specialize in is the bottom line things, the Google AdWords, the email marketing, everything that does a black and white investiture on your bottom line helps you get more money in the door.
Victoria Fletcher, Who Books Publishing, and I'm just getting started, so wanting to learn, and that's what these classes are all about, is to help me get out there. And right now, my audience, I'm lucky that I am also president of the writers group, and those are mainly the authors that I've worked with, but I'm now starting to branch out and get new people coming in. So.
Great.
I'm Mandy Tins. I'm a volunteer manager at Holston Habitat for Humanity. And I guess my target audience would obviously be trying to engage volunteers of all ages, especially millennials, because we eventually want them to be donors. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And I do have Snapchat, but it is more for the younger generation. You know, I don't know, but it's fun. It's if you enjoy this sort of thing. Trying to find a way to implement that into a business is interesting. Like I don't know. It's getting the followers, I guess, is where we're having the issue, because we have a YouTube page, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. We don't do Twitter, just because I don't do Twitter personally.
You're probably not missing much.
Yeah, and so that's where we struggle, is trying to get people to follow us and stay connected with us.
We've actually, at the High Road, ditched our digital marketing title, and we now tell people we're expert storytellers. That's really the gist. People are looking for stories. So tell your story. I bet there's 100 stories a day that are incredible. And that's a great way.
We're doing a Thankful Thursday on our YouTube, Facebook, and we have all the different people in our affiliation or our affiliate, volunteers, homeowners, people getting a house, staff, tell about why they're thankful. We're trying to, trying to build that, because video is important. People are responding to it.
Yep.
And I'm Alana. I'm the homeowner services manager at Holston Habitat, and so even though we have other jobs, we manage our media, are very tight. If we
Yeah,
have
when
a
you said
budget.
marketing budget, I was
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so in addition to our real jobs at our affiliate, we have to juggle all of that, and posting the website and doing all that stuff too, so. we wanna make that.
Sometimes your marketing budget consists of your time.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yep.
I'm Jennifer Davidson. I'm the deputy director here at Virginia High Small Business Incubator, and I work with Kathy and Nita, and I do the Facebook and our website here, and we also use Messenger. And I am Snapchat, and Sandy, we all know Sandy already. Sandy's quite useful if I have questions concerning anything, so.
Yeah, Sandy's our iPad.
Yeah.
I saw that earlier.
Everything iPhone, iPad.
Excellent.
And we're friends then, because
Yeah.
you said you're a Mac and Apple.
Oh yeah, I have my iPad right here,
Okay.
but I have my Galaxy in my pocket.
I'm Samantha Tedder. I'm an administrative assistant for the chamber. We partner with Virginia Community Capital and the Small Business Incubator for the new
That would be a great target for the chamber, is LinkedIn.
You think so?
Mhm.
I'm Nina Farmer, I'm the Executive Vice President of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, and we're always proud to partner with Kathy and Sandy. We're always doing new knowledge and trying to obtain more content and business topics. So looking at other ways to engage our current members and also to figure out how to get new members. And then also talk about tourism events. We're looking at a little bit of everything when we're getting house in the Chamber of Commerce.
We do a lot with tourism. Matt Bolus is on our team. Do you remember Matt from Bristol Chamber?
Yes.
Yeah. So he can help you. Give him a call.
My name's Tim Flannery, and I'm the video guy. I'm a storyteller, basically using the video camera. I'm streaming live now with my brand new toy, Cosmo, following along with everybody. I specialize in doing live streaming and video marketing, and excellent information. I would love to get a copy of your statistics.
Can do that.
If possible.
Mhm.
But every time I come to new knowledge, I always learn something.
Valerie, graphic designer for Food City, and I've done graphical things for a long time, print, digital, and just anything that's visual. And what I've been thinking for the longest time, but I still haven't been able to really push or promote or advertise or try to do anything with, is telling stories for individuals or businesses, whether it's brochures and stuff.
Mhm.
What I have done more of recently, what I really want to do, is I have individuals, like say for instance, if you've got a niece and she's got a birthday coming up, for instance, you can send me a picture, 2 or 3 of her, your favorite stuffed animal, and just items and ideas, and then I create some kind of really unique image incorporating all those things and concepts to tell a story about her life, who she is at that point,
Mhm.
her relationship to you, and whatever else you can think of to put in there, and make it either fantastical or science fiction, whatever theme you come up with. Some people like the Walking Dead type stuff, so I just run the gamut of themes and ideas. It's personal for each person. And it's more of a kind of gift that somebody usually would have made for
Mhm.
someone else's vacation. And I really, I think at some point I'd like to just haul into it, just try to promote it, get out there and do it a lot.
You know Katie Westbrooks?
Yeah, she literally was on the other side.
No.
She was from me for quite a while.
She's on our team.
Yeah.
Well, good to hear from each of you. Mhm.
She's still, I'm sure, super excited.
Mhm. And it's-
Back to LinkedIn, and I'm glad you mentioned that. What are some ideas of how, like, we as the new knowledge of the chamber can use LinkedIn better to go after that professional group? Because I could probably see that for you all as donors and,
Mhm.
partners in projects.
Mhm.
What are some ideas
Yep.
of how you all use it?
Every blog that we publish goes on our LinkedIn page. It's supposed to. I haven't checked lately. Every blog we publish is supposed to go on our LinkedIn page. We don't use it as much because our target market isn't LinkedIn. But we have worked with, specifically, there was a gentleman that handles end-of-life donation management. And so he would help you donate your money, which is really a fun job, sounds like. So his target market is definitely in the business realm, very much on LinkedIn. And so we helped him through that process. And LinkedIn works very much like Facebook with a different demographic. So you can have your ads, and you can post your events, and you can have your blogs, and you can post the video, the link to the video when this presentation's over, and generate that community and those links with other members. And when you have generated that network and you've created that network, then you'll have a bigger reach for your events and for your nonprofits and for your chamber membership. And
But you have to build followers to your LinkedIn page.
just like you would with Facebook or Twitter, especially in a business world, yeah. It's social media is pay to play. If you've seen how much they make, it's because people are paying them. So, and they change the algorithms all the time to make it harder and more expensive.
I never realized you could
submit per week per social media site, whatever channel that they're going to reach
Mhm.
out to. So what's, and I know it'll probably vary depending upon the market and everything. But
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer.
the minimum hours that you should be putting into each one.
When we do a social media account, we're generating all of the content 2 weeks prior to the start of the month, and then scheduling it all out. So without the benefit of the live story that happens on a day-to-day basis within that company, our social team will spend a minimum of 3 hours per account. And it's okay to post the same thing on all the platforms as long as it's adjusted to fit. Obviously, you're not going to get a Facebook story to fit on a Twitter 288 character post. And if there's no picture, it's not going on Instagram. That's required. 3 hours minimum is what we spend. But that varies heavily.
Right.
Those are great questions. Anything else?
This is a great opportunity.
Mhm.
They've got questions.
Name of the person who said, help people in the Black Nations?
I'll have to find his name. I don't recall, but I'll find it.
So, I guess, we were looking at a blog, we're getting ready to do a newsletter, and, you know, we don't have a blog on our website, so we were looking at putting a blog on our website. Is there software or a preferred platform for blog?
Do you know what your website's built on? Is it on a content management system of some sort? Is it WordPress? WordPress in and of its own is a blogging platform.
It does have.
It's already built in. And you have to find how your website will display it on the front end. But WordPress began as a blogging platform and evolved into a website platform that now powers 28% of the internet. So it's all ready. WordPress 5.0 is coming out very soon, so be prepared for that. It's going to mess up a lot of people.
Is there a source where that's updated frequently that just lays out all of their stats that you're getting, like 800,000 people watch 100 billion hours a day, like just all of the social media stats, like who's where, what they're doing, when they're doing like that?
There probably is. I pulled mine from about a dozen resources.
Is there a place like on a blog that the company provides that has some of that information? Snapshot it in
Yeah.
really good time?
This information will probably be my blog post for August. So you can find that at thehiredagency.com.
Very good. Anybody got any more questions?
Speaking out there, what do you think?
Are you coming back to do some more?
High Road will be back.
I know several from,
I believe August is PR, is that right? Yeah, Lori Worley, again from Bristol, will be back in August to do a PR session. Anybody paid attention to GDPR or any of those updated our cookies and privacy policy emails that slammed your inbox in May? Y'all know what that is?
What is it?
So this is
All Europe's fault.
this is number 11. Don't ignore GDPR. GDPR is a European Union law that's been, I don't know, passed back in 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. And it is a data protection law that gives consumers more power over the handling of their personal information in a lot of different ways, especially when it comes to financial data, comments, if you leave comments on sites, if you go to CNN and leave a comment on a story, GDPR requires that you be able to delete your entire history from CNN through some sort of process that CNN has to tell you how to do. It is a European Union law. But if your website is viewable within the European Union, then you're affected by the law. The fines are, it's 20% of your, or it's $20 million, or I want to say 4% of your gross annual revenues, whichever is greater. Nothing's been litigated yet, it just started in May. What we have found, though, is that if your website is viewable in the European Union, then you really should be at least thinking about how GDPR will affect you, your website, your online offerings.
So to be clear, you're saying the GDPR can actually be enforced here in the U.S.?
Nothing's been...
Not part of that same particular...
Nothing's been litigated yet.
I was going to say, I didn't think that about true.
But that's how the law is written. To make it worse, California has just passed their version of GDPR that will take effect at some point in the future. So it will be in the United States. There's a lot of websites that have just shut down their European Union operations because they can't afford the compliance. Last year, the Fortune 500 spent $60 billion becoming compliant in preparation for May 23rd.
But until that compliance comes through, that's nothing absolutely mandatory until the litigation goes through.
The law states that the compliance is mandatory, even though nothing has. If you're doing business or your business is visible within the European Union, it can be litigated. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how they try to enforce it.
Cal, we've got an online question. Do you think creating a group to a Facebook page is effective for gaining customer involvement?
Group on a Facebook page. We don't usually go the group route. We usually try to promote a business page and gain followers there, which creates a network as opposed to a group. So I don't see the benefit of a group over a business page.
Just another page. I mean, another thing that you would have to try to keep maintaining.
Yeah, and then you also run into setting up your policies about membership and how people can join. Can anybody join? Do they have to get permission? How do you get rid of them? Who moderates it? All that mess. Right. If you're trying to do a community group, that's great, but not necessarily for a business.
I've seen that several times. Facebook has popped up a little blurb on my phone or whatever on groups that I'm involved in. They're promoting that heavily right now. Groups that people you work with, or I can't remember all of them, but that's kind of a new thing, I guess. That they're trying to get people attached.
Yes. Well, Facebook's main business is data mining. Their data is what gives you the tools to pay them to make more money. So the more they can find out about you through your involvement in groups, the more data they have.
You mentioned about your stats will probably be in your next blog post for the folks here and watching online. You go to the High Road Agency, is there a specific spot on your website that you go to find
Yeah,
that?
we have all our blogs in one spot there. Okay. It's under blog. Maybe I'll bump that to July and move my July blog to August. I can do that.
Okay. Any others?
What suggestions do you have if you have multiple audiences that you're targeting? I mean, we at Habitat, we're targeting volunteers, we're targeting donors, people interested in home ownership, and all the different programs. We have 2 restores that we manage, so we have to promote those as well. So we have or folks that we're targeting for donors or customers, or even volunteers at our restores. So we have multiple audiences. So what suggestions do you have for folks that are trying to juggle so many types of audiences, again, on a shoestring marketing budget?
Sure. Let's target your market.
Only a small percentage of their work time to devote
Sure.
So-
Yeah, fish where the fish are. That's what we keep saying. We work with Northeast Tennessee Second Harvest Food Bank, and they have multiple audiences. Those who can volunteer, those who can donate, and those who need help. And so we target the message to each of those groups based on where we anticipate they will be able to find those people. So stories, success stories, is going to pull on the heartstrings, so that goes to donors. But people who need the help, they just need the information.
Right.
They already know their story. So finding the channel, back to that business strategy, when you're finding the right channel, determine the channels that your audience is best reached through, and then devote the appropriate amount of time to the channels that are the most important. If you need end-of-year donations or I know end of fiscal's coming up for a lot of people, aim towards the donor channels.
I'm so busy looking at my stuff to see if I'm doing the right thing. I'm getting on LinkedIn. I'm gonna start using my LinkedIn account more often.
It's the most neglected.
It is the most neglected, and I didn't even know you could do videos, so
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. We appreciate, we
pleasure.
always appreciate the High Road Agency who's been instrumental in helping us up our game this coming year. And our next new knowledge is July the 18th. It is going to be a very informative class. Karen Jackson is going to be talking to us about cash flow, and I'm going to, Rodney
Break-even
Jackson, well, yeah, but I was trying to remember his name, Rodney Jackson. They are both CPAs with Hickok Furner, are going to be, he's going to be discussing break-even analysis and how to use break-even analysis to help you with cash flow in your business. So I think it's going to be a very good class next time. Thank you for coming. Please fill out your sheets and let us know what you think.